wild. They're already doing deals. Like they're trying to give you a free tire change. They're trying to give you a free car wash and all types of stuff to get out to these games. This is wild. Look at how empty this arena is. Look at how empty it is. The cheapest ticket, $6.
Welcome back to Basketball Strike. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell, because this story is about to get intense. Alright, this is absolutely shocking. We're talking about WNBA playoff tickets, the postseason, the crown jewel of any professional basketball league, being sold for as little as $6. Yes, you heard that correctly. Just $6. That's not a typo, and it's not some kind of promotional gimmick. It's genuinely cheaper than a Chipotle burrito with extra guacamole, cheaper than buying 2 fancy coffee drinks, and even less than what you'd pay just to park outside the arena. For only $6, you can walk through the turnstiles and attend a WNBA playoff game, an event that is supposed to represent the very peak of women's basketball competition. And here's where it gets even crazier. These aren't just nosebleed seats way up in the rafters. Fans are finding lower bowl playoff tickets priced at no more than what you'd spend on a fast food meal. That's right, prime seating for the postseason being sold at bargain basement prices. The league office is in full panic mode. The executives at the top of the WNBA ladder are scrambling, not knowing what the future holds. We've already discussed before how concerned they were about playoff television ratings and how networks would handle the numbers. Without Caitlin Clark there to carry the spotlight, they're already nervous about how low the viewership might go. The fear is so real that some teams have already started offering what feel like Black Friday discounts for playoff tickets, slashing prices well before the games even tip off. But here's the real headline, the problem at the heart of it all. Caitlin Clark isn't on the court. She's not dazzling fans with those deep logo three-pointers, she's not threading highlight reel passes that would land on SportsCenter, and she's not igniting the crowd. Instead, she's sitting on the bench in sweats. And the moment she was sidelined, the entire basketball ecosystem, especially the WNBA, flipped completely upside down. So, who do you think deserves the blame for this chaos? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Because here's the irony. This season has been filled with pushback from WNBA players insisting that the league isn't just about Caitlin Clark. They've said repeatedly that she's not the only one making noise, that there are plenty of stars putting in work. But reality has been harsh. Since Clark went down with her injury and hasn't been able to play, the league's ratings have nosedived by more than 55%. Across the board. That's not a small dip, it's catastrophic. The truth is staring everyone in the face, the WNBA is Caitlin Clark. This story isn't just about cheap playoff tickets. It's really a cautionary tale about the fragile value of a league, about mismanagement at the highest levels, and about how unstable the WNBA looks without the one player who single-handedly put it back on the national map. When Caitlin Clark was healthy, the Indiana Fever were printing money. Her games weren't just sporting events, they were cultural experiences. Fans were flying in from out of state just to watch her play live. Resale tickets soared past $1,000 simply to get in the building. Courtside? People were paying $4,000 to $5,000 a seat. Clark transformed Indiana into basketball's hottest ticket, surpassing even the Pacers in their own city and creating sellout crowds at arenas that had never seen that kind of demand before. Now, the very same tickets are being sold for pocket change. You could literally pay for playoff entry with the coins rattling around in your car's cup holder. For $6, you could grab 2 seats and still have enough left over to buy a hot dog. The same franchise that once saw fans practically mortgaging their wallets just to breathe the same air as Clark is now begging people to show up. Normally, playoff tickets cost more than regular season tickets, it's common sense. But Fever playoff seats for Tuesday night are going for $12 or $13. That's the reality. And here's the brutal part, I don't even know what kind of attendance numbers they're going to try to spin. But the truth is obvious, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of unsold tickets for tonight's game, priced at the equivalent of a hoagie sandwich and a bag of chips from Wawa. This collapse isn't subtle. These are playoff games, the stage that's supposed to bring maximum demand and maximum excitement. Yet courtside seats are going for just $200. $200 for front-row playoff basketball. That's the kind of money you might pay to watch a high school state championship, not a WNBA postseason matchup. The contrast is almost laughable. One moment, Indiana was the hottest basketball destination in the country. The next, they can't even give playoff tickets away. The league is in full-blown frenzy right now. Their cash cow is unavailable. Their golden goose isn't playing. And that golden goose, of course, is Caitlin Clark. Now, every player and every team has to fend for themselves when it comes to drawing numbers. Let's rewind for perspective. When Caitlin Clark played her very first WNBA playoff game last season against the Connecticut Sun, she brought in 1.8 million viewers. That was more than every other playoff game that day combined. Yes, combined. That's what we call the Caitlin Clark effect. It's proof that one single player has the ability to alter the entire trajectory of a professional sport. With Clark healthy, Indiana Fever home games averaged over 17,000 fans, smashing records left and right. That wasn't just impressive, it was transformative. To put it into context, she outdrew multiple NBA teams. Opposing franchises scrambled to move their games into larger arenas just to handle the demand she created. The Washington Mystics shifted from a 4,200-seat gym into a 14,000-seat NBA arena when Clark came to town. The Chicago Sky abandoned their 10,400-seat home arena and moved into the United Center just to host Clark and the Fever, drawing a crowd of over 20,000. Imagine that, entire franchises changing venues, altering schedules, and cashing in, all because of one rookie. Last year, the cheapest playoff ticket to watch the Indiana Fever take on the Connecticut Sun was $133. Fast forward to this year, and it's nowhere near that. It's a fraction of the price. Then came the gut punch. On September 4th, Caitlin Clark announced that she would be out for the remainder of the season with a groin injury. And just like that, the momentum evaporated. It was as if someone shut off the lights on the Fever's season. Their September 16th playoff game, the franchise's first postseason home appearance since 2016, should have been a crowning achievement. Instead, it became a painful reminder of just how much the Fever, and the league, depend on one player. Courtside tickets for that game? $200. Yes, only $200 to sit courtside for a WNBA playoff game. Second row courtside behind the basket? Also $200. 3 tickets available, each for $200. It's the cheapest it's been to sit that close at any Fever game all year. Why? Because Caitlin Clark isn't playing. Fans who once camped outside arenas just to watch Clark warm up are now ignoring playoff tickets priced at $6 like they're expired coupons. What should have been an electrifying, packed postseason atmosphere turned into a half-empty arena filled with echoes of "what if?" The message couldn't be clearer: without Caitlin Clark, the magic is gone. And it's not just ticket sales. Her absence has sent shockwaves throughout every corner of the WNBA. Television ratings, merchandise sales, and national coverage, all of it tanks when she's not on the floor. Earlier this season, when Clark sat out for 5 games, the numbers didn't just drop, they collapsed. Viewership fell by 55% overnight. Games that normally pulled in over 1 million viewers were suddenly struggling to hit 350,000. That's not a dip, that's a full-on collapse. Even the Fever's own social media tells the story. The last time the team posted a video featuring Clark speaking was nearly a month ago. Yet, the second they need to sell tickets, guess whose face they plaster everywhere? Caitlin Clark. It's obvious, it's shameless, and it's desperate. The team knows who drives sales, and they lean on her name every time money is on the line. Ticket prices across the board look embarrassing. $13 here, $12 there, $55 for section 100, $30 for another section, and $147 for section 5. Courtside seats for $330. These are supposed to be playoff prices, yet they look like bargain bin deals. Even the All-Star game, the supposed crown jewel of the WNBA summer, took a huge hit without Clark. She was meant to be a captain, the headline act, the reason fans tuned in. Instead, sidelined by injury, she missed it, and viewership fell by 36%. It's like buying tickets to see Beyoncé live, only to find out she cancelled last minute and you're stuck with the backup singers. Sure, the others are talented, but let's be honest, you're not sticking around. That's exactly what the WNBA looks like without Caitlin Clark. For Indiana, the situation is even more painful. The entire franchise has built its identity around her. She's the centerpiece of their offense, the face of their marketing campaigns, and the reason ESPN gives their games primetime coverage. Without her, they're trying to sell fans on Kelsey Mitchell's scoring, Aaliyah Boston's dominance in the paint, or Lexi Hull's hustle plays. Those players are excellent, no question, but the reality is harsh: the market doesn't care. The market is speaking loud and clear in the form of $6 tickets and empty seats. And here's the kicker: even respected journalists like Christine Brennan have pointed out the alarming truth. She tweeted that one player got injured, and suddenly half the TV audience for the entire league disappeared. Has that ever happened in another sport? Not even golf without Tiger Woods ever fell off a cliff this sharply. That's how much weight Caitlin Clark carries. This is alarming, not just for Indiana, but for the entire WNBA. This was supposed to be a critical year for the league, a year where they proved their mainstream relevance once and for all. Instead, they've been exposed. They had lightning in a bottle with Caitlin Clark, but instead of protecting her, instead of ensuring her safety from cheap fouls and reckless defenses, they let her get battered until her body broke down. And now the result is on full display: rock-bottom ticket prices, declining ratings, and postseason embarrassment. Clark's absence isn't just bad luck. It's the result of negligence. The WNBA had their golden goose, but treated her like just another bird. And now the mistake is highlighted in bold print across every ticket site: $6 playoff seats. The truth is unavoidable: the WNBA needs Caitlin Clark more than they've ever needed any player in their history. This isn't just like LeBron James leaving Cleveland and the Cavaliers becoming irrelevant again. This is worse. This is discovering that your entire business model, your entire surge of momentum, and your entire identity rests on the shoulders of one 23-year-old point guard. And now she's broken down. The numbers tell the story. In 2024, the WNBA experienced unprecedented growth, almost all of it tied directly to Caitlin Clark. Attendance skyrocketed by 48% compared to the year before. 54 games were sellouts, the most in league history. Average attendance rose from just over 6,600 in 2023 to more than 9,000 in 2024. Television ratings told the same story. Networks broke records whenever Clark played. She wasn't just another star, she was the gravitational pull dragging women's basketball into the mainstream spotlight. But here's the question: who decided she wouldn't play? If it was Clark's medical team who believed she couldn't safely return, that's one thing. But if it was the Indiana Fever management making that call, that's a whole different conversation. Because when your entire league's momentum depends so heavily on one player, what happens when that player is sidelined? The answer is staring everyone in the face: in those empty rows, in those $6 playoff tickets, and in the collapse of viewership. The league built its entire future on one pillar, and when that pillar cracked, the whole house started shaking. The timing of her injury couldn't have been worse. The WNBA was in the middle of expansion talks, preparing for a massive $2.2 billion media rights deal, negotiating player salaries, and attracting corporate sponsors. This was supposed to be their victory lap. Instead, their brightest star, responsible for over a quarter of their economic engine, was ruled out right before the playoffs. The result? A postseason that should have been their crown jewel has become an embarrassment. Fans are showing where their loyalties lie. These weren't casual viewers. These were diehards who traveled across the country to see Clark, who bought out her jerseys, who scheduled their summers around her games. But once she was definitively ruled out, those same fans walked away. Courtside seats for $200? They passed. $6 tickets? Maybe, if nothing else was going on. The harsh truth is exposed, the WNBA's growth wasn't league-wide. It was Caitlin Clark. And without her, everything crumbles. Empty seats tell the whole story. They scream that the WNBA doesn't have enough stars who can carry the torch. They scream that Caitlin Clark doesn't need the league nearly as much as the league needs her. For 2 seasons, she was the special ingredient that made the WNBA feel like a major sports league. Without her, they've gone back to bland. Those $6 playoff tickets aren't just cheap, they're a giant red warning sign. They're proof that the league has built its entire future on one star without a backup plan. The only question now is whether the WNBA and the Fever will learn from this. Will they finally treat Clark like the generational superstar she is, protecting her on the court and investing in her long-term health? Or will they continue to push her to the limit, risking everything the second her body can't hold up? Because right now, the image of empty seats at Gainbridge Fieldhouse is writing the story. And unless the league changes course, those empty seats could become the defining picture of what was supposed to be the WNBA's golden era. So, who do you think deserves the blame for this disaster? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss the truth behind the headlines.